Hello and welcome everybody to this edition of Unscripted. Uh, Today we're going to talk about service logistics. This is an area which is of a great interest in the industry today, and it's a new, recently coined terminology uh, coined by Oracle and Oracle ecosystem. To talk about this area and its structure and its importance to the industry and its importance to Inspirage and to the customers. I am joined by a few experts in the field today. We will structure this conversation. It's not a structured conversation, but it is more about what the industry is all about, what it means to the industry, and how it plays an important role for the various industries in the world out there. With that said, I'm going to start off with a few basic questions on what the service logistics is all about, right? What does it mean by service logistics? It's we have seen this reverse supply chain. It's been around for a long time. Reverse supply chain has been a bread and butter for a lot of companies. It's a profit center in general. But the term service logistics is related to that. But let's hear from the experts. So I would expect Sudeep, what does it mean to you when we talk about service logistics? Can you please go ahead and chime in, please?
Yeah, Sridhar. So, as a process, service logistics is something where you are implementing, controlling, and planning cost-effective flow of goods, right? The products like finished goods, raw material, and in-process inventory from a point of consumption to a point of origin, right? So typically, you are involved in a properly disposal of these products and recreate value, right? So some of the examples that we generally take is return of goods from customers. It could be refurbishment of products. The downstream processes here are repair and maintenance of these products. It could be remanufacturing and transformation of products from part A to part B, reselling of these to secondary markets, and eventually recycling and disposal of the end of life goods. Right. So these are some of the examples how you can describe a service logistics and the follow-up downstream processes. Sridhar.
So when it comes to uniqueness of supply chain, when we talk about reverse logistics, in general, we're talking about the reverse supply chain here. The reason why it is important is that literally every product company out there today is expected to address the issue of how the end of the life cycle of the product is going to be handled because of the waste filling in, because of the products which needs to be refurbished, and so on and so forth. So it is not only a question about how the mechanics of reverse logistics works. It's also the question about how what is being demanded of the supply chain today from not only the consumers, the rest of the companies which are in the space, and so on and so forth. So given that, right, Pradeep, could you touch upon what is so unique about this reverse supply chain, and what is involved in the supply chain? Why is it so unique, and why is it so important for the companies out there?
Yeah. So talking about the uniqueness of the supply chain, of this reverse supply chain, we need to understand that a typical forward supply chain starts with the manufacturing of the product and it goes from distribution all the way to your end customer. And that's where the typical forward supply chain ends. But a reverse supply chain, that's the starting point for it. It starts with the end customer, and from there it flows back in the reverse direction from end customer to your manufacturer, or from your end customer to your distributor, and from your distributors to your manufacturers. With that being said, if you see there's a growing focus from most of the companies, and they are trying to focus on the reverse supply chain due to the fact that just selling the product to the customer is not enough, but you also have to make sure that what has been delivered has been correctly delivered and is working correctly for them. Okay. Now when it comes to this, if you see, dealing just with the error is as important as making a sales. Okay, if a customer had an experience with your product, you have to, if he had a bad experience with your product, you have to make sure that it is set right, it is made correctly. Okay, quickly refunding or replacing the goods can restore a customer faith in the brand. Okay, people are more likely to buy the product from a customer, from a company, if they think that the returns are made easy, and even they're more likely to become a repeat customers if they had a good return experience. Okay, if you take a common example, okay, most of the companies who are doing their online sales, you can see they have a very efficient returns process, very smooth and very efficient return process. When you go to the websites, you can find there are multiple ways they can return the product. They can simply choose to print a label and then ship them out by themselves, or they can walk into the store and drop the products, or even they can choose for option of a doorstep pickups. Now, when now these items are then sent to the reverse logistic centers, and then they are handled for damage and misdistributed. Now, for the misdirected products, okay. Now the reverse supply chain is becoming important because it maintains an efficient flow of the goods. This process reduces the cost, create values, okay, and it completes the product life cycle, okay. And if you have an optimized reverse supply chain, you can get the benefits like cost reduction of your overall network. You get a better customer satisfaction, better customer retention, faster and better services, waste reduction, and greater sustainability. Now talking about the key components, okay, if you are dealing with a reverse supply chain, the key players in the reverse supply chain are very different, or different from the forward supply chain. Now, what are your key players here? You need to have the service centers or the distribution centers. These are your first point of contact to reaching out to your customer if they need to return your product. These are the centers which collect the return products, they process it, they store it, and then they pass it on to the repair centers, which is your second key player. Your repair centers, where these products then can be done the inspection. You do they do the inspection of this product. They figure out whether they need to dispose this product, or these product can be repaired and return back to the customer. The same part can return back to the customer, or they see if they need to give a replacement to their customers. Okay, then you need your 3PLs or your logistics providers, because the entire logistics movement, collecting this part or this product from your customer back to the distribution center, taking it from your distribution center or from your service centers back to the repair centers, is all managed by your 3PLs or your PLs. Okay, you need to have your third parties repair providers who can act as a backup in case of your demand surge. Okay, you need your subcons which can deal with your scrappage of the material. When you have to do the scrappage, there are a lot of rules and regulations which has been put forward by the governments. Okay, and to make sure that these products are properly disposed of, you need your subcons in your network. Okay, so that's where I see there's the how the reverse supply chain, is unique and different from a forward supply chain, typical forward supply chain.
Very good, very well said, Pradeep. I think the given the fact that the supply chain could be quite complex, and it is designed to handle a specific activity within the reverse supply chain. Um, I believe there are certain set of products that Oracle has come up with to deal with this stuff. I mean, traditionally, Oracle's had these products, but it has been recast into the cloud world with this reverse logistics as an option for you to use. Sudeep, if you could take a couple of small number of minutes to address specifically how these set of applications from Oracle is going to address the reverse supply chain, and then the service logistics, how they kind of mesh with each other. That would be helpful. Go ahead, Sudeep. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So Oracle Cloud, Fusion Cloud offers DCS portal. That's the customer facing application where customers can log in and put in service requests for product issues or product or questions from customers. So from DCS portal, there is a way we can connect to B2B service module. So B2B service module is the backbone for service, where you record the service request, and you can have knowledge base service managers or service representatives can look up for information from pod, knowledge management pod to respond to questions to customers. They can also connect to service logistics and depot repair to process some of these requests, whether it is based on parts exchange, it could be based on repair and return. So whatever policies the products follow, the service managers or the service reps can process these orders. So there are a bunch of other modules where the B2B service kind of closely integrates with. There is something called subscription management cloud, which is primarily in legacy e-business suite. It was called as service contracts, which offers a length breadth of features, functionalities around contract management related to warranties and other service contract related features. Apart from the service logistics, where it kind of bridges or connects the CRM applications that we spoke about with the supply chain, where it talks to order management and inventory management. The service logistics also is a very, very important module to connect field service applications, where the field applications are integrated with service logistics, and the field techs can be assigned specific activities to go on site and work on these requests that are coming in from customer. Apart from this, the maintenance cloud is connected to service logistics. Whenever there is a repair issue, service requests which come in for repairs, they can be processed through the maintenance or the depot, where a work order is executed and the product is refurbished in this case, and then the product, when it's refurbished, it's kind of shipped back to the customer. So all these are integrated, and the most important module which Oracle has built is the install base, where all these modules talk to each other and references install base. Install base is a very key module here, where all your for logistics based on the attributes or the configurations, all those serials will be recorded and registered in install base, and these serials are entitled or checked during the order processing
Very
for
good.
repairs.
Yeah.
So these are some of the basic modules, Sridhar, that Oracle has
Right.
provisioned.
Essentially, the reverse logistics, as it relates to Oracle ecosystem, is a set of applications that are essentially going to enable you to execute the reverse supply chain. In other words, ship, transact, repair, and return to the customers, and so on and so forth. As you rightly mentioned, Sudeep, there are a bunch of customer facing applications, which typically tend to the fact that you need to go interact with the customers and so on and so forth. But there is a reverse part of it, or a part and parcel of the application set, which deals with essentially the whole logistics of handling the return products, shipping those return products. As Pradeep was mentioning, it could go through a series of supply chain nodes, which are service centers, repair centers, 3PL providers, probably suppliers and subcons, which provides repairs, and finally return it back to the field or the customer. Right. So it essentially is a set of applications which are designed to handle all the logistics. It is nothing new in terms of the application set that Oracle provides. What is new is how it has been meshed to deal with the reverse supply chain process that is unique about these applications. I think we have established that fact. So a couple of other things that we would like to talk about today is continuing on with what Pradeep had mentioned in terms of the uniqueness of supply chain. I'd like to pick your brain, Sudeep, on first of all, what kind of business process flows are typically handled within this particular reverse logistics. If you could take a couple of minutes and share with the audience as to what is that comes to your mind.
So when we talk about reverse logistics, Sridhar, the parts exchange, it could be a case where you have products which have warranties and you have contracts, and against these contracts, the products, you check the entitlement when the products are returned, and you replace the product based on that parts exchange flow. So typically you have the replacement scenarios where you replace a faulty or a defective product. So that's primarily one of the flows that Oracle Depot Repair Cloud, Fusion Cloud supports. Apart from this, you have the repair and return processes where you take the products, you receive the products in the depot centers or repair centers. You work on those repairs. You execute the work, and post execution of work, you can do refurbishment and you can send the same assets or equipment back to the customers, or in case of an upgrade which is available, you can also transform this product to a new product and position that product to a customer. So these are where you are returning, repairing and returning a product. These are also supported in Oracle Fusion Cloud. Apart from this, there are other scenarios where the field techs have to be engaged. The products are huge in size and generally are not cannot be transported out of customer locations. In those scenarios, situations, we will have field engineers or field techs being deployed to customer locations. This is typically where you get in a request from customers and you send the identifier tech, you schedule the tech to visit the site. The field techs can carry certain components, they're called as trunk stock, and they repair the product and debrief the and collect the labor hours and the consumed material during this work. And once all this activity is completed, you can bill the customer, right? So this is typically a third variant where we talk about field service and service logistics, which you have to track your inventory, you track your labor and other expenses incurred on field work. Apart from this, Oracle does support other variants where you can a service center can just get engaged to respond to questions or clarifications from business or customers. So in this case, they can leverage the knowledge management portal, which is embedded within the B2B service center module. They can look up for documentation, contents within the knowledge management, and share contents using the B2B messaging framework with the customer, and respond to queries and close service tickets. Right. So that is another flow where you can use B2B service. Another interesting process which can be used is to order repair or consumables, right? It is only a parts where you open up the Commerce Cloud, open up the applications for products, and you offer customers to browse through the catalogs, and customers can handpick products or spare parts, and based on the choice that they have made, a parts order can be placed, and that can be processed using order management cloud, and the consumables or the spare parts can be shipped out, right? So these are various processes that can be completed using service logistics, maintenance cloud, and the B2B center.
Certainly, it comes across as some of the basic bread and butter processes that any company which is involved in the service reverse supply chain will go through. That's very well said. Hope we have given you a broad glimpse of the service logistics area. Thank you for joining the first session in the series of service logistics and other related areas that we would like to present. Thank you so much for joining.